Hey guys, I'm MG, and today I will only be looking at two specials this time, which are Horton Hears a Who and The Lorax, that were both written by Dr. Seuss. These films are based on books with the same name, which were also written by Dr. Seuss. These specials were adapted into feature films in the late 2000s and early 2010s, and they are definitely better than most of the sequels that I already talked about in previous episodes. So enough chit chat. Let's talk about the Elephant special. Horton Hears a Who is a 1970 American animated television special that is based off the book. It was directed by Chuck Jones, who directed the first Grinch special, and written by Dr. Seuss. This special is pretty decent. The thing I really like in this special is the main characters. Horton and Dr. Hoovy are really likable. And their chemistry is really sweet. Like, both of them are outsiders by people not trusting them, and they start to bond because of that, which I think is neat. It could have been better though. Like, Dr. Hoovy is sad because people don't believe him, and Horton is not really sad, is he? Like, the man is relaxing in a flaming watering hole. What more could you want? Also, their conversations only focus on Hoovy, but it never focuses on Horton. Like, he doesn't explain why people don't believe him. He doesn't explain how he's an outsider or anything like that. All I'm saying is, their chemistry is done well, but it could have been even better for the following reasons I just explained. But let's move on. Another thing I like is Hans Conried's performance. He does a really good job of conveying both Horton and Hoovy's feelings, and makes it sound believable as well. Also, the Mellowmen do a really good job of making the Wickersham brothers menacing. Speaking of the Wickersham brothers, they're my favorite part of this special. Like, their two songs is really great. The Cage song is really menacing and helps create a lot of tension, and their introduction song is really entertaining and fun. The animation is really good and really detailed with a lot of colors, and creates a natural environment for the setting. Also, the first Doctor Hoovy song and the final song are not as good as the Wickersham songs, but are still really acceptable. However, there are a bit of issues with this special. The biggest one is the rest of the voice acting. June Foray, who voiced Cindy Lou in The Grinch, doesn't sound natural this time, with the kangaroo and especially with the birds. It just didn't work for me, and felt more like it's trying to make the villain a joke rather than a threat. I also think that she ruins the first song because of her weird line deliveries and vocal performance. So, June, please keep voicing little girls. Thank you. But Chuck Jones does the worst performance, especially with the baby kangaroo. He made the baby kangaroo annoying, which is why I'm thankful that the baby didn't have that many lines. He also does a bland performance of the vulture. So that's not very nice, is it? The MGM chorus isn't as bad as June or Chuck, but it still didn't work for me. Also, one of the citizens of Whoville looked like the Grinch for some reason. But whatever. That's my opinion of the voice acting. Another issue is the rest of the songs. They are pretty weak. The Bird song has bad lyrics and June Foray only makes them worse. The second Doctor Hoovy song is weirdly voice acted and wasn't really investing. And the second to last song was incredibly repetitive. My final issue is that the first act was kind of boring, but it was a good setup. And the story is still non-existent. Overall, this special is really solid, and I would recommend watching it since it has a lot of good stuff in it, despite some problems. 6.8 out of 10. Now, let's talk about the Mustache special. The Lorax is a 1972 American animated television special that is based off the book. It was directed by Holly Pratt, who directed the first two Cat in the Hat specials, and written by Dr. Seuss. I have an interesting tale about this special. You see, first time I watched it, I hated it. I thought that most of the aspects were bad and thought that it was going to be the worst Dr. Seuss special I have ever seen. But you want to know what I thought when I watched it the second time? I thought it was decent. Now, don't get me wrong, this is worse than the Horton special, and still has some problems. My main issue is Bob Fleming Holt's performance as the Onceler and especially the Lorax. Of Fleming course. He makes the Oncelers sound unrealistic, and makes the character a complete joke. And he does an even worse performance with the Lorax by making him also a joke and just sounds very eerie and annoying. So Bob, keep voicing business, man. Now let's move on to some more issues. Yay. Like the main characters. The main characters are not interesting whatsoever. The Onceler is a bland quote-unquote villain, and the Lorax is quite annoying, which is why I don't really like any of them. So yeah, not good characters. The story is, say it with me, non-existent. As usual. And the final song is very bland and fast. And I don't like it. But outside of those problems, I enjoyed this one a bit. It has great animation and really shines the environmental setting with a lot of eccentric colors. The rest of the songs are my favorite part of this special. They're just really catchy, with great lyrics, and fits with the moments it's in really nicely. And Andy Albert does a really good job of narrating the story. It's just really entertaining to watch. Also, the part where the Lorax kicked the vehicle made me laugh a little bit. Overall, despite its annoying aspects, this was enjoyable and entertaining to watch. So I would recommend watching it at least once. 6.4 out of 10. Goodbye everyone, and thank you for watching. Bye.